I read an interview with Martin Freeman, or Bilbo Baggins if you're nasty, saying that fans' interception and expectations are what ruined Sherlock for him. And I think the same can be said about The Last Jedi. So, what made The Last Jedi so disappointing? The fans. Roll intro. I'm not saying that the fans were the only reason why The Last Jedi didn't work. It had pacing problems, characters acting out of character, additions to the canon that some could see as jarring, and Canto Bite! But most of what made The Last Jedi so disappointing was the disconnection between the answers in this movie and the questions proposed by J.J. Abrams' mystery box set up in the previous movie and all the fan theories that happened in between. Abrams has a habit of positing weird, out-there questions then not answering them. The mystery of a thing creates the fascination, but the answer often creates disappointment, which can sometimes work for a serialized TV show like Lost or movies like Cloverfield, but in a franchise, when a different director has to pick up the pieces that you left behind, it doesn't always work. Same thing happened with the Cloverfield movies. I'm thoroughly convinced that the first Cloverfield movie was supposed to be the only one, and then 10 Cloverfield Lane happened, which I heard was pretty good, and then Cloverfield Paradox happened, which I didn't particularly like, and it created this disjointed kind of Elseworlds movie franchise where every installment is loosely connected by an overarching canon. With Star Wars being an episodic franchise, there's continuity that needs to be present for each movie. As much as people hate the prequels, at least they connect to and answer questions from the original trilogy. Same with Rogue One, both Clone Wars cartoons and Star Wars Rebels, and hopefully the Han Solo movie. As of the recording of this video, it's not out just yet. The Abrams mystery box just doesn't work with a massive franchise like Star Wars, and maybe the franchise will correct itself when he comes back to direct Episode 9. But honestly, I don't blame Rian Johnson for not answering questions that JJ posed the way fans wanted. After all, he was a fan answering questions the way he saw it. Anything a fan comes up with in their heads is going to be better than whatever is put to screen, which isn't always a good thing. I mean, the other night I had a dream that instead of chucking pumpkins at people, the Headless Horseman was throwing 3-wick candles from Bath & Body Works at people, which sounds terrifying when you're first waking up, but in your head and in reality, it's kind of hilarious. It takes a quick Google search to find all the fan theories and headcanons and theory videos relating to The Last Jedi. JJ posed a lot of questions in The Force Awakens. Who's Snoke really? Who are Rey's parents? What's Luke been up to? Questions about Phasma and Kylo Ren, and on and on and on. So obviously people were pretty disappointed when their theories about Rey went unfounded, or their Kylo Ren General Hux /fic wasn't put to screen. It's impossible for a filmmaker to please everyone all at once, even with genre movies like Star Wars. And to say that the reviews of The Last Jedi were mixed would be an understatement. While the movie was a critical darling, reviews from fans ranged from it being the best Star Wars movie since Empire to the worst since the prequels, and you never go full prequel. But like with anything Star Wars, you have to remember, no one is more critical of Star Wars than Star Wars fans. That's the blessing and the curse about creativity and fandom. When it's validated, it feels great, but when it's not, people are ready to rage quit the internet. And The Last Jedi not only had to work off of newer fans' expectations coming off of The Force Awakens, but older fans from Return of the Jedi waiting to see Luke Skywalker on screen again. Everyone was hyped, theorizing and waiting and hoping to see that the story they had plotted out in their head would be right up there on the big screen, but that wasn't what happened, and that's not what we got. So let's look at The Last Jedi again from Rian Johnson's view. He is a fan who loves Star Wars, and theory crafted like the rest of us after seeing The Force Awakens, except he was the one in the director's chair, and in the writer's room, so he put on screen what he saw in his head, what he wanted. Not what some teenage Reylo shipper or some 40-year-old OG fan who custom built his own lightsaber, or the 5-year-old boy whose first movie was The Force Awakens. Not a YouTuber whose channel is drenched in Star Wars lore from the extended universe to the new canon, or the guy who spends his free time writing Star Wars fanfiction. And not me. He made what he wanted, and I can't fault him for that. I think all of us would have done the same if we had that sort of clout he had with Disney and Lucasfilms. I have my problems with The Last Jedi. It's not what I would have wanted, but in a way it was a love letter from a Star Wars fan, even if other fans didn't like it. So yeah, all the harping online from Star Wars fans about what they would have done and what they would have wanted, all the expectations they built up between the release of Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, is what made The Last Jedi so disappointing. I mean, not 100% because Canto Bite, but it was a lot of it. Upon first viewing, The Last Jedi may not be all your hopes and dreams, but maybe it's worth another look because it's someone else's.
Walking up the ramp, walking through the hallway. I flash back to when I was a kid with the action figures inside. Suddenly I had like a big lump in my throat. This is how it gets you.
Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down in the pit about what you thought about The Last Jedi. And please be kind to each other. I know it's a divisive movie, obviously, or I wouldn't be talking about it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Ring the bell notification to be alerted about when I post the next video. And thanks again for watching, guys.